Hey everybody, it is me, Super Paul Games. Welcome back to Seduce Me the Otome. Last time we had a scandalous makeout session with Jimmy James. I looked at the time out of curiosity, though large white numbers on my phone showed 5:31 in the PM. Yikes! 4 hours of being knocked out and I still feel tired. It was Sunday, so I was allowed to sleep longer if I wanted to. The remainder of the night passed by surprisingly uneventful. The boys continued to train with each other, but were kind enough to stop and make me dinner. I was glad for it. Unsurprisingly, the food was perfect. Did they go to some sort of demon culinary academy? But it felt a little empty without the boys to eat with me. What are you, like I need all the boys with me? They most likely had already eaten, but still I felt lonely. I couldn't let it bother me. I ate and went back to my room to study and sleep. Surprisingly, I felt good going to bed that night. I felt like I could have a peaceful sleep after the previous rough nights I had. Oh, I felt good. I drifted to sleep and woke up almost flawlessly the next morning. How was that? Is that like when a gymnast jumps off of a high bar or whatever, and you're like, flawless? It's a flawless wake up. No grogginess, no aches, perfectly energized and bright-eyed. Man, how long has it been since I got that much good sleep even? I looked to my alarm clock. I woke up 10 minutes before my alarm. Well, hey, I must be lucky today. Karma owed me some luck. After all I'd gone through in merely a handful of days, I deserved some good luck. Ecstasy, or ecstatic, that's different, for the day ahead. I turned off my alarms before they could ring and got dressed. However, my phone started to quickly buzz from an incoming text. Huh? Who's texting me this early?
Yo, Anderson! You're carpooling with us from now on. We're not letting you waste your money on a bus. Get ready and be at your gate at 7 stat.
Suzu, I love it when you're dominant with me. I smiled. My friends were the best. I couldn't drive yet and I didn't have a car, so it was awesome that my friends would let me carpool. All the more reason why I was really fucked up that her dad just dropped her off here. Not knowing if she had food, she doesn't have a ride, he just dumped her here. I checked the time, 6:30. Perfect, I can eat some breakfast before they come. Oh, I hope they come. I packed my bag and carried it downstairs towards the kitchen. As I entered the dining room, I saw a plate with eggs, toast, and bacon sitting on the table. I'll eat the bacon. A fresh steaming cup of coffee sat next to the plate with the sugar and creamer on the side. I walked to the table and couldn't believe what I was seeing. Who made this? Who do you think made this, dear demon slaves? As I spoke aloud, a small red note caught my attention. Hi, I'm a note, look at me. Have a good day, yours. My heart skipped a beat as I finished. I could tell it was from one of the boys, or maybe it was from him. I smiled before putting the note in my bag and eating up. Nom nom nom. The food was so delicious I devoured every amazing bite. Oh, I hope James devours me like this. I looked at the time again. Time to go. I quickly rushed to the doors, checking myself before I wrecked myself in the passing mirror. I wasn't wanting to impress anyone, but I still needed to look decent. Before I could reach the handle of the door, however, someone took my hand. Huh? I turned to see James, who was holding my hand. Oh my god, James is holding my hand? Holding my hand back with a concerned frown on his face.
My name.
Your name?
My true name isn't James, miss. I want you to know my real name if something were to happen.
Alright. His true name? What did he mean? Why was he telling me this now? I remembered reading about a demon's name from the journal I read yesterday. If you knew a demon's true name, you could summon them to you no matter what, where you were, or where they were. You know, James, you don't know Fatty Vag very well. If she's a super desperate woman, or needy, you could be like, I'm watching the demon football game, and she's gonna be calling you over non-stop. James gently pulled me to him and leaned close to whisper in my ear.
My name is Raystrow.
Rastraro? As I said his name, I could feel it lock into my memory. Something in my head would make sure I would never forget. James pulled away and smiled at me, despite still carrying worry in his eyes.
If you are in any danger, call my name. I promise that I'll come and help you.
I stared up at James, unable to say anything. I could only nod in response. James smiled before kissing my hand. "Quit eating my sexual energy!" and heading into the dining room. Something told me that name would be used eventually. Seems sort of like a clue, foreshadowing. And right on cue, Naomi drove up to the gates with Suzu waving me down. I rushed out the door and we headed to school, talking about the homework in the coming day. We made it into the hall without a hitch. Our lockers were in the same part of the hall, so we quickly unloaded what we needed to and got our important books and necessities. First incident of the day. As I walked towards Suzu and Naomi, "Hey Suzu, looking good. What's up, Naomi? Let's rub our boobs on each other. It's what girls do, right?" They were both waiting for me on the opposite side of the hall. Something hooked my ankle and made me fall forward. "Oh, bitch tits!" Whoa!
Hey, are you okay?
Who did that?
The three of us looked back to see Lisette, the man woman, and her gaggle of girls. Lisette had a look of complete innocence, while the girls around her giggled like no tomorrow.
Why, you little...
Suzu, don't!
Suzu, punch her in the tits! I felt a giant fire of anger burn in my stomach as I stared at Lisette. Today was not only the only time this has happened to me, however, it was now clear who was behind these incidents. Mystery solved. Even if she was innocent and one of her goons did it, it was now obvious that Lisette was the mastermind just from the look on her face. Yes, because it takes a mastermind to figure out how to trip someone else. She was no friend, nor will she ever be. I had to do something. I'm just gonna glare into her soul. I glared hard at Lisette. That'll show her, giving a good glaring, a good looking at. Feeling wisps of air and magic run through my skin and veins. However, I stopped at what I saw. What the fuck? How do I summon demons? Is it because I read that book? Is it because I made out with James? Around Lisette was the dark purple aura that seemed all too familiar. It was like demon magic, but it seemed to be tamer. I slowly rose to my feet, collecting my belongings as I continued to stare at Lisette. Something was off. Wait, is she possessed by, Malix's girlfriend? Slut-tox? As I continued to look at her, the aura grew, forming a shadow behind Lisette, with red eye-like shapes glowing from within its darkness.
Anderson, you alright?
I see a demon! I couldn't respond. I was entranced by the small hum in the air. It was distant, almost an ethereal whisper you could hear in horror games, but it was real. It sounded vaguely of a woman humming a tune I didn't recognize.
Hey, are you okay?
We better go to class. We might be late or something. I suddenly felt the need to walk away. So I did. Naomi and Suzu scrambled to catch up and follow at my new quickened pace. For what it's worth, I would kind of freak out too if I saw some sort of demon woman.
Sheesh, Anderson. You look like you saw a ghost.
I might have, Suzu. I might have.
Are you really okay? That fall was pretty bad.
I can survive
I think
it.
she saw underneath Lisette's cake face and saw the devil itself.
Oh, I thought you were going to say skirt. You're going to be like, you saw her devil vag.
Oh, Suzu, hush!
Never hush, Suzu. Ugh. No, something was wrong with Lisette. It was more than her just being mean. There was something or someone watching over Lisette. Or they were watching me behind Lisette. What they were doing, I didn't know, but it was definitely demonic. Of course, how did the demons know our arch nemesis in school who used to be our friend? Surprisingly, the rest of the school day went off without another incident. I went to my classes, had lunch, and was anxious to get home. As the bell rang for school to end, I felt my phone vibrate in my pocket. Huh? A text from Dad? The other ones were voiced. What's the dad voice being a dick? I'll pick you up today. Make sure you're ready to go when I get there. That's like kind of a surprise. Yeah, Dad never helps us with anything. I quickly headed back to my locker and got my things before waiting for Naomi and Suzu. Maybe Dad hadn't hit anybody in the face for a day or two and he missed that?
Hey, are you ready to go?
No, my idiot dad's picking me up. Ugh. Actually, my dad's picking me up today?
Really? Okay, I guess that kind of makes sense.
We'll drive home together next time. Tell your dad that we've got you covered from now on.
Thank you, Naomi. You're a lifesaver. Ha ha ha. Alright, I'll do that. Even while I laughed, something didn't seem right. My dad texted me to say this? Why was he going to pick me up? Had I done something wrong? I didn't know. I waved goodbye to Naomi and Suzu before heading off to my usual spot where my dad picks me up. I took time to listen to my music while I waited. I need to go to another Rise of the Phoenix concert. I bet there's some cute boys there. Boy penis. Eventually I had played the entire album with no one showing up. What the hey? Dad's never been late, especially not like this late. I quickly dialed my dad's number again, but as soon as I pressed call, it disconnected and read a signal disconnection error message. What the no signal? How do I not have signal? I double-checked my phone and saw all 5 bars for signal. He must be in like a dead zone or something. Maybe he went to hell with Malix. Before I could finish, a group of hands grabbed at my hands, feet, and covered my mouth. I screamed into the hand over my mouth, struggling to pull away from the hands grabbing at my limbs. It felt disgusting and scary, feeling their hands on me. I needed it to stop. Where's my taekwondo that everybody said I was going to be so good at?
Hey! Don't dirty up Malix's prey.
What? The voice, which sent a fearful shiver down my spine, whispered into my ear. That sounded like a yell.
You're coming with me, Miss Anderson.
Oh, no, I want to come with Suzu, not with you. I couldn't fathom what was happening, but before I knew it, I was blindfolded. My limbs were quickly tied. I felt myself being carried away somewhere and was shoved into something that echoed the interior of a bus or a van. The doors closed, and off I was taken, unsure of where I was going and why. All I knew was that I was in trouble. Right here in River City. All I saw was darkness. I felt numb as I was taken to a place I didn't know of. I couldn't even move my lips to scream. The sound zipped past my ears, first of the interior of the car, then the outside, then an echoey space with whispers and cackles of people, not peasels, I don't even know what a peasel is, vibrating throughout it. Oh no, I'm at a dildo store! Everyone's testing them out, gross! Oh, I gotta read that. Didn't my MME, Mars, Pova, sugar, hey, sugar, barbecue. I think I'm in Australia, because it's about barbecues. However, the wrap around my eyes was eventually removed from my face, and my bonds were cut. It took a while for my eyes to adjust, but I found myself in a warehouse surrounded by devils, including Malix, who was smirking at me. I thought you guys were from hell. Is this like a warehouse in Hell, Michigan? Because I thought you were like in Devil Hell.
Nicely done!
Thanks.
I'm sure those little shits will come running to find you when they realize you didn't return to your precious little mansion. They'll search everywhere for you.
Is that like a small blanket or a bandana? Was that your blanket when you were a baby, Malix, and you tried to make it into a cool bandana? Because it didn't work, bro. Malix walked over and set the barrel of his gun against the skin between my eyes.
It'll be so funny when they find your dead body instead.
Try shooting, Malix. I'm made of magic. Oh, do I call James? Oh, James would be vulnerable here, but I'm not. I'm gonna fight him. No way this was happening. No way I was going to let myself be a victim of this. Fuck you, Malix. I gotta remember what was in that book.
What are you whimpering? Are you praying that the boys will come and save you?
Malix, I don't need no boys to save me. I kept grumbling, trying to remember, and I shut my eyes, studying for a brief second. It wasn't enough to keep a spell in my mind, but I had to try something, anything. All of a sudden, the air grew still and silent. I opened my eyes and looked around and gasped at the sight. Everything was frozen in time, as if the clocks had stopped and everything had followed suit. What the? At first, I instantly wanted to move, but my feet were glued to the ground. I guess I couldn't change time and escape from where I was, but I was still lost. What was I supposed to do? A soft wisp of wind made me turn to a floating light of purple orb. I stared as it glowed, giving off a warm feeling. Giant purpley ball, hello! For some reason, this thing made me feel happy and content, despite the situation I was in. Is it ecstasy? My heart felt like crying, yet I didn't know why. It couldn't have been Grandfather? As I muttered, the orb slowly grew and faded into a spirit of my grandfather. From when I last saw him, I stared up at him, completely shocked that I was correct, that his form was standing in front of me. He's always so mellow about everything.
I guess it was a good idea to bring the incubi here after all.
They were your boyfriends! What? Is it really you? What do you mean? My grandfather smiled before patting my head gently. I couldn't feel it, but I knew he tried, so I closed my eyes in acknowledgement before looking at him again.
Sweetie, I'm sorry for not telling you, but I didn't know if you were ready to know.
Wait, so you just sent demon boys to my house rather than tell me... Well, you're dead, so you had an excuse. That you had demon magic? Oh, they were his boyfriends.
Yes.
Why is that? What is there to gain from, like, learning and using demon magic? Was that for the toys? Do kids love demon toys?
It wasn't a matter of gaining anything except knowledge. Through magic, I was able to learn more about the demon world and its wonders. I even met your incubi friends.
You met the boys?
Yes. It was I who helped them come here. But it seems it was at the cost of my life.
Oh, damn it, Grandpa. What? Why? You sacrificed yourself like that? No. None of this made any sense. He died to bring the incubi into the human world, but why? My mind was practically screaming, "Ah!" in anger. I needed answers. With time being frozen, we had all the time in the world. Why would you die for something like that? Why leave us alone, Grandpa? Why leave me alone?
I wasn't intending to, my dear. But now that I'm gone, you have a chance to find yourself without anything hindering you.
I'm in a chair in a warehouse. What?
Your father had always been so hard on you. I'm to blame for that. He learnt of my studies before he married your mother and pushed me away, promising to never follow in my footsteps.
Are you like the grandpa in Lucius? You're like, son, here's how we raised the devil. And your son's like, yeah, we're not doing that.
As he was my son, I still loved and cared for him. I helped him in little ways, from paying bills and making sure he had food to come home with by adding money to his accounts. You don't know how hard your father worked to get to where he is now.
What the hell? Wait, so he had a... Damn it! Fuck you, Dad! So that Grandpa helped our dad with money and food and shit, and then our dad's just like, get the fuck out of here. I stared, trying to take it all in. It was true that my dad worked really hard, but I didn't realize how rough he had it.
When you were born, I couldn't have been any happier. I tried to give you as many toys as I could, but many of them were tossed away by your father to protect you from me.
Why, what kind of toys did you give me? Like, razor blades, saw blades?
I thought I would never be able to see you. But when I found you on the street, I was blessed enough to be given a chance. After I brought you back to your parents, I asked your mother to convince your father to let you visit me often, and he finally agreed.
Aw. Why does Dad, like, hate you so much? Why does he put out that on me?
Your father saw me as a monster. He was afraid I would hurt you. He wanted to protect you from me at all costs, even if it meant becoming a monster to you himself.
That means Daddy's dumb.
You did not know my father. You did not know what he was capable of.
He truly does love and care for you, but he doesn't want you to be as curious as I was.
Curious?
I chose to learn about magic. I grew curious about it. He thought that was wrong, so when I didn't give it up, he shut me out of his life.
Well, Grandfather, I will admit in our abusive dad's defense, it's a little weird if someone's like, yeah, I'm going to try and bring demons into this world. Dad, that's weird. Maybe you shouldn't. No, I'm doing it. I'm curious.
What a stubborn old man.
So I did the only thing I could do. I gave everything I owned to you, including my hidden books your father never knew of.
My head began to spin. There was too much information. It was all going so fast, despite time not moving a single inch.
I'm just so happy that my curiosity stayed with you.
So, my grandfather met the incubi? That seems so surreal. I could hardly believe it. Yet here was the spirit of my grandfather telling me... It was almost like a dream. So, like, you introduced them to the human world?
That's right. I told them about the wonders of our world, and they all wanted to come to experience it. So I helped them come over and gave them everything they needed. They traveled everywhere and I helped them as they learned more about humans.
Wait, Grandpa, so you let incubi come into this world that prey off of the sexual energy of humans? I like you, Grandpa, but that's a little weird.
Then, I suddenly stopped breathing. I don't know why, but I believe it was because my time was up. After I died, the boys tried to come back. However, Malix attacked them instantly when they crossed his path. I used the last bit of my strength to guide them to the estate so they had a place to stay to heal.
I don't mean to interrupt the narrative, but I like how the misspelling here. They boys! So that's why the boys were in the house, because Grandpa summoned boys. But they said they didn't know about the house belonging to anyone?
I never told them it belonged to anyone. I merely told them to head to the estate for shelter until they could learn to live on their own.
If the estate was meant for them, like, why give it to me?
I never knew your father would move you in so quickly. Even still, you managed to learn of them and learn of the demon world. You even were curious enough to study the magic.
Hell yeah. Why not teach me like when I visited, Grandpa? Maybe you shouldn't teach little kids to summon incubi.
You were too young to understand. I was hoping that you would make the choice to learn on your own when you were ready to handle it. And you did. I'm so proud of you.
Thanks, Grandpa. Do you know James? I think you do. I want to handle it with him, if you know what I mean. Ha! Wait, what are you saying? I barely began reading it. I don't remember any of the magic.
I will help you remember.
Thanks. Then my grandfather gently bent down and kissed my forehead. All at once, my mind began to fill with spells and history of arcane magic, the demon world, and everything my grandfather had known. I looked up at my grandfather again, now able to remember everything, and more as he smiled down upon me. Oh, Malix, I will wreck you so hard.
Never forget. Make your own choices and do what you need to do. Don't let someone determine your life for you. If you decide to never look at magic again, I'll understand. But now at least you know it's there.
Thanks, Grandpa. My grandfather then patted my head before turning and walking away. I tried to follow after, still unsure and lost as ever, but my feet remained stuck to the floor. Wait, please! Grandpa, no! He didn't turn back, and he didn't stop walking. Soon he vanished past the wall, leaving me alone once again. I gritted my teeth, trying not to cry. My mind was filled with both the power to defend myself and a large amount of confusion I could never hope to shake off. I could feel the air around me start to move again, so I tightened my hands into fists, trying to push away my concerns. I had to remember, I was Malix's captive. I had to escape. After I escaped, I could figure out my life. Soon the world around me returned to normal, with Malix mocking me. I closed my eyes and began to mutter a spell from my memory. Spiritus Lumine de Fortitudem Tuum?
What the? Latin? What are you?
E pluribus unum? Desedio? All of a sudden, a wave of light burst from my body, washing over the room and pushing the devils away from me to the ground. As the light quickly faded, I shook my head, feeling a small weakness in my legs. What I would like to do is stand up and be like, Malix, I command the incubi, and now you are my slave. Malix quickly hopped up and growled at me, obviously surprised, but irritated beyond belief.
Where did you learn that? I will rip that tongue right out your mouth.
Good luck, bitch. Spiritus tenebrarum periculum prohibere.
Come here!
Malix charged at me, dropping the gun that would never hurt me to the floor and reaching for my face. However, I quickly crouched down and covered my head with my arms, while a dark magic circle appeared under my feet. Above me, a dark shield appeared, blocking Malix from touching me.
Ugh. How? You're just a human!
A human who, knows how to fight back, Malix? I pushed against the shield, forcing Malix back before standing. I wasn't some damsel in distress. I could fight for myself. I shook out the sudden appearance of numbness in my hands as I glared at Malix, challenging him once again to come at me, bro.
Malix!
No! Stay out of it! I'll kill this bitch with my own two hands, one way or another!
I hope we kill Malix, cut his head off, and then bring it back to the incubi and be like, look, I did what you can't. As commanded, Eris stood away from us along with the other devils. The group watching us was lost in intrigue as I stood up against the leader.
Oh, you must think you're some tough shit since you know some demon magic, huh? Well, guess what, princess? Demon magic consumes energy. I can play this all day, and when you finally lose all your energy, your ass is grass.
Well, your ass is fat. I glared, knowing that what he said was true. I couldn't hold out forever, but I definitely had the energy to last a while until someone found me or until I could overpower Malix somehow. Malix charged at me once again, causing me to run backwards to keep some sort of distance. I could feel energy wanting to shoot out of my hands, so I pointed my palms at Malix. Light purple spikes suddenly began shooting from my hands, forcing Malix to skid back. Suck it, bro. I had terrible aim. Oh no. I hope we didn't shoot some kid. Only able to scratch the edges of his body with one or two actual stabbings into his shoulder and leg. Malix growled, pulling them out and throwing them at the ground.
Quit playing around, Malix!
I lowered my hands, feeling the numbness run through my veins to consume both of my arms. I began to pant, desperate for some relief before continuing. Malix smirked at the sight. Oh, for the love of God, please someone find me, I prayed. I hoped that I wouldn't have to keep fighting. I was becoming desperate. What made everyone in that warehouse drop our fighting faces was the screeching of police sirens coming closer to our location. Malix smirked even wider.
It's time to have fun, boys. Make sure you kill them all.
The devils all seemed to get excited and started to walk past us to meet with the cops, but a loud finger snap stopped them and made them turn around. Malix and I looked to see Eris with her hands in the air post-snap.
Eris, what are you doing?
Enough, Malix! We've wasted enough time in this stupid town. I'm getting out of here and I'm taking the rest with me.
Ah, you're pussy whipped, bro. I didn't know whether to laugh or not. I bit my tongue as Malix got angry again.
Like hell you are. Boys, do as I say, or else.
None of the boys moved. Eris snapped her fingers again, causing the boys to rush past her and out another way from the warehouse.
Malix, it's over. You can't even beat a human girl. You're losing your powers. Lower devils only follow higher-ups that actually have power.
Bam, son, you got dethroned!
Shut your mouth!
Malix summoned his gun to his hand and shot multiple times at Eris, who somehow managed to teleport away from the shooting line and reappeared by us. She shook her head, letting out a sigh before grabbing Malix by the neck and pulling him off of me. Malix started to choke as Eris stared coldly at him.
All this for a bunch of pretty boys. You must be stupid and desperate.
Me or Malix? I'm kinda desperate a little bit. Eris looked to me, making me tense up.
Human! I suggest heading home to your pretty boys. You don't want to get involved in a supernatural investigation. It's a pain in the ass.
Thanks, Eris, I love you. Then she turned back to Malix, glaring daggers into him as he glared back at her.
You really think women are weak? Let me fix that, sweetie.
Oh, Malix, you're gonna have 2 women who beat you up today. And with that, Eris vanished into the shadows, taking Malix with her. As I was left alone, the police siren stopped. I looked over to the open passage to see the incubi with a large police siren megaphone staring at me in surprise. The boys came to save me, and, the cops weren't really here. All they had was the megaphone. They went to the store and they got, a toy one, apparently. That was nice. They kind of saved me, but they didn't really need to, because, I could save myself. Well, everybody, that's where we're going to end it here. I went a little longer than I wanted to, but, the action was hot, and I like it hot and heavy. Sit on my fatty face. What? I do need to lose weight. What? This is pretty cool. I like how Fatty Vag stood up for herself with the power of Grandpa helping her to fight the dude. Because I really think if we would have summoned James, he would have been screwed, because he's not safer without the rest. Well, everybody, I'll see you all hopefully in the next episode. I had a lot of fun. Take it easy.